In this video we're going to look at mesh flow. In other words, how does the geometry represent the contour of the surface? I'm just going to convert this to an edit poly, and I'm going to use the double click feature on the edge mode to show where the loops are. So if I pick an edge and I click on it, you can see that it selects a continuous edge. So this is the loop. And if I pick an edge and I select a ring, you can see that it also runs or flows correctly along the surface. Now if I do this and I click ring, you can see it flows down the surface, but it doesn't have a continuous size. It actually changes its width as it goes. When we get these changes in size, we know that we're getting a change in the size of the triangle, and we often refer to this as the triangle density. This has fairly even triangle density. This means that along this flow we have different sized triangles, so therefore they have a different density. We can also see that if I select an edge and go ring, you can see that it doesn't flow along the contour of the surface, it goes off to the side. If I double click edges, it's the same thing. It flows along to here, but it stops at this point because this point is a pole. If you've got a vertex and it's got 4 edges coming off of it, then that's a good pole. You can see here that it flows through these poles, but what happens when it hits this point is that it doesn't have 4 edges, it has 5, and so it stops because it doesn't know which direction to go in. If we try and do this with the triangle system, we can see that we virtually get nowhere. We can click and it kind of goes for short distances, but then it stops. If we select the ring, if I click and select a ring, you can see that it is quads. They are looped together, but what they're doing is they're going around in a circle. I can pick another one down here, go to ring, and you can see that this one is looping around in a circle. So we do have a mesh flow. It's just not necessarily the right mesh flow. If I try and click and pick out different edge loops, you can see that sometimes we get a half decent edge loop, sometimes it goes off at an angle. Same again when we look at the n-gons. Initially this quad is fine, we can see that we've got loops, but then it runs off, it hits this point and it stops because there's only 3 edges. It doesn't know what to do. We can hit this point, we've got more than 4 edges. Again, it doesn't know what to do. Hit ring and we can see where the mesh flow goes, and it goes down here and then it doubles back around and off to this side. Good mesh flow is when the edges of the geometry match the contours of the surface. The mesh flow should follow the same path as the lines in a sketch.